Hi, today we're going to be making sweet potato burrito bowls. And it's very easy. All you need is one pan. I'm going to go ahead and turn my pan on to medium-high heat. And I'm going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil. All the ingredients that you need for this recipe you can find at your local grocery store. It's very easy to make. Very easy to find the ingredients for it. Today we're going to be using sweet potatoes because sweet potatoes are a superfood and they have lots of vitamins and minerals in sweet potatoes, so they're very good for you. We're going to go ahead and add that to the olive oil. It's about 2 cups of the sweet potatoes, about 2 heaping cups of the sweet potatoes. So we're just going to go ahead and stir that around. We're waiting on the pan to heat up. We just want to coat the sweet potatoes in the olive oil. And we're going to keep cooking this. Sweet potatoes are one of my personal favorite foods, but it's also, I have a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old, and it's one of their favorite foods too. So we love sweet potatoes in our house. Alright, so while our sweet potatoes are cooking, I figured it would be a fun time to explain the health benefits of sweet potatoes. Sweet potatoes are very high in fiber, which is good for you. One sweet potato actually has about 103 calories, and they are good for helping you have a healthy blood pressure. Also in sweet potatoes, do you know that you have 100% of your daily needs for vitamin A, 25% for vitamin C, vitamin B6, and 12% for your potassium. You'll also find in sweet potatoes, you'll have calcium, iron, magnesium, phosphate, zinc, vitamin E, thiamine, riboflavin, and folate. So sweet potatoes are very, very nutritious. Alright, so I'm still just stirring our sweet potatoes around. We want them to cook. We want them to be kind of soft, not too soft, but we want them to be tender. Alright, while these are cooking, I'm going to go ahead and add in my bell peppers to this. The bell peppers, you're doing a mix of the bell peppers, so you want the sweet peppers. I added in the green bell pepper just because I like this, but the recipe calls for the colorful pack of bell peppers that you find at the grocery store. So it's got the orange bell pepper or yellow bell pepper, the red bell pepper, and then I added the green bell pepper. And you want 1 cup of bell peppers. I think I actually have a little bit more than 1, but it's whatever you like. So I'm going to go ahead and add this in. You just want to keep stirring this. If you like a little crunch in your bell peppers, you can wait and add them in later. I want mine to be a little bit softer, so that's why I went ahead and added it in with the sweet potatoes. I'm just going to keep stirring this. Get the camera in. I'm going to show you a little bit of a close-up view of what the sweet potatoes are looking like. And here's the sweet potatoes. I'm going ahead and stirring them. I'm going to get nice and tender. So one of my other favorite ways to cook a sweet potato is to just dice it up and stick it in the oven and roast it. Add a little bit of cinnamon on it. That's what me and my girls love to eat sweet potatoes that way. Very easy to do too. Alright, so my sweet potatoes are becoming tender. Now I'm going to add in just a little bit more olive oil. My hand, just a little, probably about 1 tablespoon. Stir that in, and then I'm going to add my rice. Nothing fancy, it's just brown rice. The recipe actually calls for white rice, but I decided to use brown rice instead because it's a little bit healthier. So you just want to go ahead and throw in your brown rice and give that a little stir. You want to stir this for about 2 to 3 minutes with the rice and the potatoes and the bell peppers. This would be a good option. This meal would be a good option if you're a vegetarian because it has no meat in it. But it's also very filling. Every year my family does a fast with our church, and with that fast we give up meat for 21 days. So this is one recipe that we really like to use during that 21 days because it doesn't have the meat, but it's also very filling. So you don't feel like you're missing out on too much. You're not hungry. Alright, so we've been stirring our sweet potatoes and our rice. We've already added in the extra olive oil. Now we're going to go ahead and add in a can of diced tomatoes. I picked rotel because that's my favorite. We like the hot rotel because we like a little heat in our food. So we're going to go ahead and add that in. If you don't like spicy, they have the original rotel. I'm going to turn down the heat just a little bit. The pan's kind of hot. Go ahead and stir that in. And then we're also going to go ahead and stir in our frozen corn. It's about 1 cup of frozen corn. We're going to add that in. Put that in there. I'm going to go ahead and stir that. We're going to stir that, and then we're going to go ahead and add in our chicken broth. If you don't want to use chicken broth, you can also substitute this with vegetable broth, and it would also be very good. So we're using about 2 cups of chicken broth. I'm going to pour that in. Now the recipe calls for black beans in here, but my family doesn't really like black beans, so we're gonna leave that out. But if you like black beans, go ahead and use that. We're just gonna stir this together. Now we're gonna add in the seasonings for this. We're gonna use a little bit of garlic. Grab a spoon. So we're gonna use about half a teaspoon of garlic. Go ahead and put that in. Now we're going to add in chili powder. If you can see it, chili powder and ground cumin. So the chili powder, we're going to use half of a teaspoon. Teaspoon of chili powder. Go ahead and sprinkle that in. And then we're going to do 1 teaspoon of the cumin. Perfect. We're going to go ahead and give that a stir. And then you're going to turn the heat down to medium to low heat. And we're going to go ahead and cover the pan and let it sit for a little bit. Let me grab my lid. All of those sweet potatoes are going to, soak up that flavor from the rotel and the chicken broth and all of those great bell peppers that are in there. It's going to taste wonderful. So we're going to cook this for about 10 to 15 minutes. We're going to go ahead and simmer it. And then we'll be about ready to eat. Alright, so our sweet potatoes are still cooking, or burrito bowls, I guess, are still cooking. But I wanted to give you just a quick peek so you could see what they're starting to look like. Look at how good this is starting to look. And what you're looking for is you want to keep cooking it until a lot of that juice is really absorbed and your rice is cooked. So when it gets done, it's not going to be this soupy. Okay, so we're just going to put the lid back on and let it sit for just a little bit longer. Some more fun facts about sweet potatoes is, did you know that sweet potatoes can also help with diabetes, your blood pressure? I think you mentioned that before. Cancer, it can help prevent cancer, digestion, fertility, inflammation, and vision. So I thought those were kind of fun to know. Whenever you're buying a sweet potato, did you know that you need to look for the soft skin, wrinkles, cracks, or the soft spots that are in the sweet potatoes, and you can actually store them for up to 3 to 5 weeks. So sweet potatoes can last for a very long time inside your house. So it's not something that's going to perish very quickly. Sweet potatoes have a lot of natural flavor. So if you're somebody who has a sweet tooth like I am, sweet potatoes are a great option as a vegetable to help kind of, cure that sweet tooth that you get at the end of the day. They have a very natural, great sweet natural flavor. I know a lot of restaurants put, marshmallows on their sweet potatoes and, cinnamon and like a caramel sauce and all. And that tastes great. A little too sweet, but it tastes great, but you don't really need all of that stuff. You could just add, some cinnamon, some cumin, some seasonings like that, or spices like that, and it'll taste just as wonderful. So we're going to go ahead and take the lid off of this and check it and see what it's starting to look like. Alright. Good stir. It's starting to look great. A lot of the juice is left. There's just a little bit. I mentioned my daughter's loving sweet potatoes earlier, and sweet potatoes were actually one of their first foods because when you cook them, they're so soft that it was easy for them to eat, and I didn't have to worry about them choking on it. I could mash it up for them, or when they started to eat, whole pieces, I knew that they could, mash it up in their mouth by themselves. So that was a great first food for them that I knew was full of all these vitamins and nutrients that they needed. It was something I could feel confident about giving them. And I like to cook my own, baby food whenever I was feeding my girls, because I wanted to know what was in my food, or in the food that I was giving them. So sweet potatoes were a great thing, and because they have that sweet flavor to them, my girls loved them. We're going to take the lid off and see if this is ready. Alright, so give it a stir. Alright, I think it's about ready. There's a little bit of juice left, but we're going to go with it. It's looking great. The sweet potatoes are looking great. The rice is looking great. And again, if you wanted to add black beans to this, that would be good. You could probably add really any kind of beans that you wanted to this, and it would be good. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my lime. And I'm going to just give a little squeeze of lime juice in there. I went ahead and sliced up my limes so it would be a little bit easier. And so just I think I squirted myself. Just a little bit of lime juice in here. I'll give it a little bit more because I like lime. then you can save the rest of the lime to kind of garnish with, or if somebody likes a little more lime than others, you can always add it. So now we're going to add in the cheese. And the recipe calls for half a cup of cheese to 1 cup of cheese. I'm going to be honest, I never measure my cheese, so just add it until it looks good. I think this is pretty close to a half a cup to 1 cup, but you know, a little extra cheese never hurt anybody. So, and I'm using the Mexican, you can see it, the Mexican blend cheese from Publix. The recipe called for cheddar cheese, but you know, I figured a burrito bowl, this cheese would go well too. I think really any cheese will work for this recipe. So we're going to go ahead and stir that in. It's nice and cheesy, and oh, it's looking good. I enjoy eating healthy, but my husband doesn't always go along with, you know, my healthy meals that I come up with. But this is one meal that even my husband will eat, and he enjoys it. So we eat this meal quite often, especially, like I said, when we're fasting. This is one of our go-to meals. And I'm going to go ahead and let you see what it looks like. Give it a little bit of a stir so it's nice and cheesy and it's looking good. Alright. So I'm going to go ahead and take a bowl. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and take my bowl and I'm going to go ahead and scoop up just a little bit of this so you can see how I'm going to top it. I plan on eating this too. It looks so good. Alright. Alright, so I have my sweet potato burrito bowl in my bowl. And one of my favorite ways to top this is with some diced avocado. All I did was I just cut it in half, took the seed out, and then diced it up and put it in a bowl. So I'm going to take this, I'm just going to put just a few pieces, you know, on my burrito bowl. I like to give a little extra squeeze of lime juice, just all over it. And then I also like to just get a little bit more cheese just on top, you know, just a sprinkle. Make it look pretty. And that's it. Got a sweet potato burrito bowls. Give it a little taste. Make sure it's good. I want a good bite of the sweet potato. Very hot. Very good. Very hot, but very good. All right. Well, thank you for joining me.